I'm going to give you my tips for a happy, healthy retirement. So stay with me. I've talked to a number of retirees, both recent retirees and those who have been retired a long time. I myself, I've been retired 7 years already. I can't believe it. I'm going to be 71 next month. I can't believe 7 years has gone by that quickly. So that's important to note when we go through this list. But the first tip I want to give you happens even before you retire, and that is planning for retirement. And the number one thing for me that I believe is of utmost importance is healthcare planning. Say you have a date in mind. Maybe it's 6 months from now. What I would suggest is to take care before retirement happens, while you're still on your work health care. And most of us were before we retired, or we had private health care because we had our own business. Whatever the case may be, if we have that health care before retirement, take the opportunity to use that and get all of your analytical tests done, your diagnostic tests. Get all of those tests complete. Get your colonoscopy. Men get your prostate exams. Women get your mammograms. All blood work, complete CBC, everything you need to do, because when you're in retirement or on Medicare, or if there's a gap, say you retire before Medicare and you have to buy insurance, that's a costly thing. So you want to make sure you want to get all of those things, have a clear mind when you step into retirement. So any type of healthcare planning you need to do, and also set up what type of healthcare you plan to have, healthcare coverage you plan to have during your retirement before Medicare kicks in. And then when Medicare does kick in, make sure you get a supplemental, because remember, Medicare only covers 80%. The next thing I want to cover is another planning item, and that is financial planning. Make sure you have the resources you need to cover you 10, 20, 30 years into the future. Nobody knows how long we're going to live, but let's assume that we're retiring at 65 and we're healthy and we lead an active lifestyle and our weight is good, our diet is good, and all of the metrics tell us that we may live a long time. Well, make sure you have the resources, the financial resources to cover you during that period. Do an analysis. Look at all your sources of income that you're going to call on during this time. If you're going to use Social Security, if you're of the age, if you have annuities, if you have 401ks, if you have pensions, lay that all out. See how much you have, and then compare it to your projected expenditures. Now, they say that we don't spend as much in retirement as we did before. Well, that is a broad statement as far as I'm concerned, because that varies from person to person and the activities you do. And if you plan on traveling a lot, say more trips than you did while you're working, well, that costs money. So you have to lay all of that out and plan for it. Are you an owner of a home that's paid off? Fantastic. If you're not, you're going to have to cover that mortgage with less money in retirement than you did during your working years. Or if you rent, the same thing. Rent goes up every year, no matter where you are. Are you willing to relocate to a city or state that is, less expensive to live? I mean, all of those things need to be thought out because, as we know, and we witnessed in the last few years, inflation goes up. It doesn't really come down. It goes up, up, up. So we need to have the resources to cover all of those increased costs. If you want to travel, and most of us do when we reach retirement age, we always say it while we're working. Boy, when I retire, I'm going to travel. I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to go to Asia. I've been dying to go to Asia. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, it costs money. It costs money to get there. It costs money to stay someplace, especially if you're a long-term traveler. If you want to stay a place for a month, that's going to cost money. you know? So plan for those things. So those are my first two tips. My third tip is, how are you going to spend your days? What are you going to do from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep? Now that's important. If you don't have hobbies, if you don't have purpose, those days are going to drag on, and I don't think you're going to enjoy your retirement too much. If you, in your working life, were very active or are still working and are very active, and then all of a sudden you retire and you don't know what to do when you wake up in the morning, that's going to be a problem. Everybody I talk to who's been retired a long time says the most important thing they did was to have purpose when they wake up in the morning. Now, that does not mean, it means different things to different people. Some people want to keep active, so they volunteer. Some people play golf. They get up in the morning and they play a round of golf. Then they meet their friends in the clubhouse, or they go to a gym, or, they take walks with a group of people. All of those things are important to know how you're going to spend your day. Keep a calendar, you know? Keep a calendar and say, okay, on Monday, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I have this appointment, that appointment, because this is what I found in my retirement is as you get older, your body changes, and you're going to spend a lot of those calendar days at doctor's offices. So be aware of that. But that aside, make sure you're spending your time the way you want to, fully. Get out there, be active, meet with friends, join groups. So many communities have different clubs for seniors. If it's something you never thought you would do it. Tonight, I'm doing a trivia thing at our community, something I never thought I would do before. But those things, get out of your old way of thinking, I guess is the point here. Get out of your old way of thinking. If you've never done something and you always thought, I'm not going to do that, that's not who I am, give it a shot. You never know. The next tip is keep your social connections strong. So many of us that have worked for various companies for say 30 years, 40 years before we retired, most of our social connections have come through our work. I know with me, most of my friends for a long period of time were work friends. And when that ended, it's like, oh, now, I live 3,000 miles away from where I grew up, where my friends still live at this time. So if all of my friends now were work friends and they're gone, what do I do? So you got to continually keep your social connections active. Meet new friends. Don't be afraid. That's when I said before, join clubs, go to a gym, meet people. Don't be shy. This is the best time of your life. You've earned this. Walk with confidence. Meet new people. Everybody's going to be in the same boat. Retirees. If you live in a retirement community, which I do, a semi-retired community, there are non-55 villages within this big community that I live. You can meet a lot of people. If you never played golf, try it. If you've never played pickleball, try it. If you've never played card games, bingo, whatever it is, give it all a try. Get out of your comfort zone. Meet people. That's going to be the key to your happiness and to fill your days with joy. I'm telling you, that is so important. People say, live your life with purpose. And when you're working and raising children and building a life for your family, that seems like a no-brainer. But when your children are grown and they've moved away and you get to see a grandchild or grandchildren every so often, friends have passed, what gives you purpose? I'll pose that question to you all. What gives you purpose? What makes you glad when you wake up every morning. All right, it's a brand new day. What do I do today? So it all ties into the other things I've been talking about. Living your life with purpose. One, you got to feel good, so you got to keep your health in good shape. If you want to travel and do things and be the great explorer and see things you haven't seen, you kind of need the resources to do that. And then the social connections. You got to keep tight with all that. So what gives you purpose? That's all I wanted to say today. Hopefully these things resonate with you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm off the mark here, if I've missed opportunities, or if there's something else that you know that might be even better than this list that I've concocted here. All right. Anyhow, thank you once again. Thank you for watching my channel, and I appreciate everything you've done. And those who are new, welcome, and please subscribe and like. I will talk to you on the next one.